Y'all are always recommending that I cover this guy. So when YouTube decided to recommend me this new video he put out a couple weeks ago, he doesn't upload often, so this is still kind of a new video for him. I had to cover it. It's called Stop Noticing the War on Men. I love responding to incel content. I love when it tries to make like actual statements about women and their place in society, and I love debunking those statements. But at the end of the day, we all know that they're only saying these things so that their rhetoric isn't just entirely trying to make themselves out to be a victim because they're men. Everything that they criticize feminism for is what the incel manosphere movement stands for. Like the idea that women are just trying to fight for supremacy over men, ironically, that's what the manosphere is trying to do. It's all projection. We all know it is at this point. If you don't, then you might be a member of the manosphere who has not quite realized the types of people they're spending time with. But that's fine. That's fine. That aside, though, AndyPants is a cringe lord, and I oftentimes don't like watching his stuff, but you guys seem to love the idea of me responding to this video, so I figured we would watch it. Let's see what AndyPants has to say. Now, if you end up enjoying this video and you want to help my content be boosted in the algorithm so it reaches more people and competes against right-wing slop, then leave a like, a comment, and a hype. Helps a ton. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more from me. But without any further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? Stop noticing the war on men.
Stop noticing some things. Stop noticing that Nathan Drake and Sully were replaced by girl bosses. Stop noticing that a small black...
Stop noticing that Nathan Drake and Sully were replaced by girl bosses. So, correct me if I'm wrong, this is not like a new Uncharted game, is it? I remember when this game was like... Who remembers when this Uncharted thing came out? Was there like a level? Or was it its own Uncharted game where you don't play as Nathan Drake? That's a spin-off game? Isn't it like about like Nathan Drake's daughter or his wife or something? I've never played the Uncharted games. Also, like what timeline are we in now? Where the Uncharted games are now being touted as good video games. Because like, I'm not saying Uncharted is bad. People have always loved Uncharted. But these types of people have always been like big haters of this series because they don't like Naughty Dog and they don't like the idea of narrative-driven games, like heavily narrative-driven games generally. They kind of see it as a sort of slop form of games, like anything sort of Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted, like kind of blurs the line between interactive movie and video game. Not quite to the degree like a Telltale game does, but close, right? A lot of these guys always hated the Uncharted games and, like, the Last of Us. They saw him as, like, normie shit. So it's bizarre that he's, like, talking about Nathan Drake and Uncharted as if it's this, like, return to tradition thing, you know what I mean? Also, I don't know who Sully is that he's referring to. Maybe just a game series I've never played.
Noticing that Nathan Drake and Sully were replaced by girl bosses. Stop noticing that a small black woman single-handedly beat the shit out of Nathan and Sam. Stop noticing that the...
Wait, hold on. Aren't you racists always saying that black people are more violent than white people? Wouldn't that make more sense in your worldview? Well, I mean, they're always saying this. They're always talking about these the crime rates and talking about how black people are dangerous or whatever. And now it's like, but she could never beat up Nathan Drake. Also, didn't she? I've never played the game, but wasn't she like a soldier lady? And Nathan Drake's just kind of like an adventure guy. Like he's basically Indiana Jones, but a little more experience with guns. Actually, Indiana Jones shoots people, so like, he's basically Indiana Jones. Like, Indiana Jones would get his ass kicked by, like, any trained soldier. So would Nathan Drake, right? I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. I'm sure the Uncharted fans are gonna have a fun time with me on this one in the comments. Oh boy.
Developer of the ultra-based Killzone games now makes games about a fat, dog-ugly lesbian who definitely...
Damn. This guy does not even try to hide it, does he? What the hell is Killzone? Game series from 2004 to 2014, it died out. Killzone was never good. Well, Killzone literally died out and was a massive failure back, like, when I was in middle school. It was a meme how much Killzone just completely, like, rotted out and died. Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West are really interesting games to me because I've never played them. But I know a decent amount of the story behind them. Not the literal story of the games, but the story of the people who made the games. And this studio produced an in-house engine, because I'm super into game development stuff. This studio, the studio behind Horizon Zero Dawn, and especially Forbidden West, created, I think it's called like the Guerrilla engine or the Rage engine or something like that. It's or Guerrilla Games. I think it's Guerrilla Games made the Rage engine, and it is like the most groundbreaking video game engine that has ever been produced. Obviously, on a visual level, the visuals of this engine are insane. There have only been 2 franchises to use this game engine, them being Horizon and Death Stranding. Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West are on the same engine. Death Stranding 2 as well. It is an absurdly well-optimized, insanely in-depth, in-house made engine that was made specific... Rockstar made Rage Engine. What am I thinking of? What is the name of the engine that Guerrilla Games made? What's it called? Does anyone remember the name of the... I gotta Google it. Hold on. Horizon Game Engine. The Frost Engine? Decima Engine! It's Decima. Horizon Game Engine. The Frost Engine? Decima Engine! It's Decima. The Horizon game engine is not a real engine. It refers to the Decima engine, the proprietary engine developed by Guerrilla Games used to create the Horizon series. It was first released in 2013 for Killzone Shadowfall and was heavily modified for Horizon Zero Dawn, and later used for subsequent titles in the series like Horizon Forbidden West. Other games such as Death Stranding have also been developed using the Decima engine, sometimes with input from other studios like Kojima Productions. So yeah, it was the Decima engine. My bad. Okay, I'm sorry. These engine names, I mix them up often. I follow a lot of game development studios. My bad. If I was a dev, I'd have it better down. But I will say, the amount of negativity I see around this series is really hard to take seriously. When just from a game design perspective, I'm aware of like how groundbreaking the work that this studio does. Like, Kojima went to this studio and was like, I want to use your engine because you guys made the only game engine that could possibly handle the story and setting I want to create. And that speaks volumes. Like, if that alone isn't enough of an endorsement of this franchise, or I should say the studio and the people working on these games, like, even if the games just don't really appeal to you, like in my case, and you just don't plan on playing them, like in my case, that alone should be enough of an endorsement for most gamers to understand the hate around this studio is largely overblown and manufactured. It's inorganic as fuck.
Definitely drives a Jeep Wrangler. Stop noticing that one of the best characters of all time, Jin Sakai, was replaced with a butch lesbian who raises a child with another woman, an action that God...
Man, he really hates lesbians. Like, he seems to just use lesbian as his go-to insult. Now, I'm just gonna say what we all already know. We've all met the kind of guy who uses, like, lesbian as their go-to insult about women they don't like. We've all met that kind of guy, like, several times in our lives, I assume. I'm not the only one. It's okay, we hate him too. That's not even the funniest part. Guys who think this way, we all know from experience, are the guys who get absolutely no play. This is an opinion derived from incels. Incels have to huff so much copium to convince themselves that it's not them that's the problem. They start convincing themselves that, like, every woman who doesn't want them is an ugly lesbian. And so, just the way he's talking just comes off as very, exactly, Supreme Virgin shit, you know? Also, Ghost of Yote is a different game. It takes place around a different character in a different part of Japan. Tsushima was an island, and Yote is a different island, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, I've not played either of these games, but one of my best friends is a massive fan of the Ghost games, and played a lot of Ghost of Tsushima. It's just, this is literally just woman bad. Like, is that literally all we're gonna get here is just woman bad?
Hates. Okay. Stop noticing that angry masculinity personified, Kratos, was replaced with the...
Don't be shitting on my boy! Cuck of War, wow. Ironically, it's Kratos cucking everybody in the new series. I'm assuming he just hasn't played the game. For those that don't know, Kratos cucks Odin. Like, he and Freya are totally fucking. Kratos, like, cucks Odin, and then he and Odin's ex-wife proceed to kill Odin. Sorry for spoilers, but Cuck of War? Do you mean the Bull of War? The Cucker of War? Because Kratos literally cucks. Like, he and Freya are totally fucking. Kratos, like, cucks Odin, and then he and Odin's ex-wife proceed to kill Odin. Sorry for spoilers, but Cuck of War? Do you mean the Bull of War? The Cucker of War? Because Kratos literally cucks Odin in the new God of War games. He is the one who does the literal cucking. For those that are unaware, in the new God of War games, a big theme is that, like, Kratos is not randomly grabbing people and, like, using them and their bodies to, like, stop gears from, like, spinning to close a gate and, like, smushing them in. Like Kratos does a lot less indiscriminate killing of random innocent people in the newer games, and they try to, like, humanize him to an extent. You know, he's kind of had some time to be like, that whole thing I did back in the original trilogy of games was kind of insane. And he's more of a person. And he's also in Norse mythology. Why did they put him in Norse mythology? Because at the end of God of War 3, he kills all of the major Greek gods in his, like, rage-fueled rampage of revenge. And every god that he kills fucks up the like, realm of reality that they pertain over. So, like, killing Helios blots out the sun. Killing Poseidon causes the ocean to flood in all of Greece. Killing, who was it? Hermes. Killing Hermes causes plague or pestilence for some reason. Like, each of the gods that gets killed causes some sort of biblical disaster to break out across all of Greece. And at the end of the game, he kills Zeus, and everything is so apocalyptic. He just ends up stabbing himself to release, like, hope into the world so that there's something for humanity, whatever is left, to come back with. But he's then presumed dead, but in reality, he, like, crawled his near corpse off of a cliff and then survived the stab through his gut, like, big-ass hole through his chest, and then walked and walked and walked until shit wasn't utterly destroyed anymore. And he eventually arrived in the Norse realm, where the Norse gods are, and where the Norse gods control the different aspects of reality. So Greece is fucked. Like, Kratos destroyed Greece in the process of wiping out their pantheon, and now he's in Norse mythology. And, you know, he's trying to do things better this time. That's a big theme of this game, and in AndyPants' view, that makes Kratos the Cuck of War.
Cuck of War, who isn't even the main character in his own story anymore. Stop noticing that a muscly armed lesbian in Last of Us 2 literally killed Joel as the bagel director of the game held him down for a beating. Stop noticing that the...
Oh my god. Oh shit. It is always good to have confirmed for you that, It is always good to have confirmed for you that, conservatives are all Nazis. One thing I also want to point out, by the way, is that anytime you see Oy vey spelled this way, it's a Nazi. One of my favorite ways to identify a Nazi is when they spell Oy vey, O-I-V-E-Y. Oy is spelled O-Y. The O-I is like a little clever thing Nazis do. Nazis always spell Oy vey, O-I vey. Y'all ever notice that? I have. I don't know how I'm supposed to respond to, well, did you know that Dina was played by a Jewish actress? Did you know that... I don't know who this is supposed to be, but is this Neil Druckmann? Alright, he's the Last of Us TV show director. I think this is Neil Druckmann. Did you know they're both Jewish? They're probably not even Jewish, by the way, but, yeah. How's it supposed to be spelled? O-Y. The Oy in Oy vey is spelled O-Y, not O-I.
Director is Jewish, Ellie's girlfriend is Jewish, and the entire game was stated by the director to be a metaphor for Israel. Stop noticing that Peter is cucked by a woman and a black man in Spider-Man 2, and MJ somehow went from being a journalist to a superhero because stunning and brave. Shall we do Xbox next? Stop noticing that based masculine characters like Marcus, Dom, and Cole were replaced by Kate Diaz. Stop noticing...
Kate, they were replaced? Like, one thing that I find very interesting about this is that for a very long time, the vast majority of video game protagonists were these, like, white dudes with brown hair. And I mean this very specifically. Like, white guy, brown hair was, like, every... Like, you could boil down every main character design that wasn't meant to be non-human to that. Like, especially during a particular era of video games that I grew up in. White guy, brown hair was so common. And I think it makes sense. They call this design idea the generic white dude. You might look at me and notice something about me. I'm a white guy with dark brown hair. This means that if you, like, I can basically identify, visually speaking, to some extent, with most protagonist characters in most video games, most movies, most TV shows, because I look like the vast majority of main characters in video games and TV shows. White guy, brown hair. Like, it's the most common combination for people in the gaming demographic. And it makes sense, right? You're probably going to make a relatable character for most gamers when you design your characters like that. However, there is a downside to this, and that is that stereotype starts to look really cringe if the demographics of gaming begin to change, and that's exactly what happened. Right now, roughly half of, if I think not over half of gamers right now, are women. When I found this out, it was fairly recent, actually. It's about 48%. When I found this out, it was shocking to me that roughly half of women are gamers. And I specified, I was like, okay, maybe. But what if you exclude mobile games, is what I asked. I was like, there's no way, if you exclude mobile games like Candy Crush and stuff, that women actually make up that close to 50% of the gaming community. Sure enough, you account for PC gaming and console gaming, and it is within like a couple percent the same exact representation. It's not just the mobile gaming and casual gaming that is contributing to this. Women in general are getting very, very close to being exactly 50% of the gaming population. And that trend did not just happen overnight. It was a continuous, growing, directional change. Part of it is no doubt due in large part to the fact that, like, this demographic change means that certain companies are going to start pandering to female gamers more with the characters they design. And then on the other hand, it's also possible that it's just a natural outcome. More women coming into gaming means, or more characters like this getting made, means that more women are going to try the games with characters that they relate to. Don't exclude all mobile games. PUBG Mobile had a huge amount of players. You can look just by platform, and you still see the exact same representation, down to just a few percentages off. So, video games just aren't the boys' club they used to be anymore. Like, half of the gamers you encounter in an online lobby might be women, just not speaking with voice comms or whatever. You know, so it's just, there's never been a time where it makes more sense for not every single character in gaming to be a guy. Let me be clear, there's still tons of video games with guy main characters, an unbelievable amount, but any amount of games where the franchise branches out into having a non-straight white male main character is the end of the world for these people.
Noticing that Halo Studios made Cortana ugly and Chief a simp. Stop noticing that they made the hero in Fable a woman. But guys, don't worry, there's totally not an attack on men right now. Stop noticing that...
How does women existing mean an attack on men?
Based masculine Assassin's Creed protagonists were replaced with a black queer man and an ugly woman. Stop noticing that...
You forgot to edit out AC Chronicles there. You edited out AC Unity, or not AC Unity, AC Liberation from the collage. I noticed you left out AC Liberation there, but you forgot to cut out Chronicles. That's a woman, by the way. I know you never played Chronicles because you're not a real gamer, and you don't probably even know about it, but that's that character. She's Chinese. That's the China Assassin's Creed platformer game. It's like a side-scroller. You forgot to edit out AC Chronicles there. You edited out AC Unity, or not AC Unity, AC Liberation from the collage. I noticed you left out AC Liberation there, but you forgot to cut out Chronicles. That's a woman, by the way. I know you never played Chronicles because you're not a real gamer, and you don't probably even know about it, but that's that character. She's Chinese. That's the China Assassin's Creed platformer game. It's like a side-scroller, and you play as a woman in that one. In China. You forgot to edit it out from the collage. You kind of just fucked up your point. Because, ironically, I mean, like, if you're mad about male character, female character, why are you now mad about male character, female character? When it was okay in 2007 to 2024, but now 2025 and onward, Ubisoft is woke. My favorite thing is they've now moved the time scale up. Apparently now wokeness began in 2024.
Assassin's Creed protagonists were replaced with a black queer man and an ugly woman. Stop noticing that Silent Hill F is just feminist propaganda designed to make women hate the concept
Man, you'd think that would be one they'd appreciate.
Of marriage. Very subtle, by the way. There's a boss at the end that...
Man, you'd think that would be one they'd appreciate.
Of marriage. Very subtle, by the way. There's a boss at the end that's a wedding dress. Stop noticing...
Damn, so he's like doing the woke thing now. where it's like, if you look really carefully, you can determine that there is secret messaging that marriage is evil. For those that don't know, though, part of the story of Silent Hill F does seem to be a commentary on the cultural standard of arranged marriages. Like the idea that, parents just deem that you must marry this person, like two families decide these two are going to end up together, whether they like it or not.
That after 3 Witcher games starring Geralt, the new game we play exclusively as Ciri, who they just happen to make ugly and fat now. Could it be?
Says the man who has never gotten any pussy, either from a hot skinny woman or, as he would say, an ugly fat woman. He has never gotten any. Fat, I know. He is a creator who is making content for the most hateful of hateful. That's why he leans so hard into it. I know, if you're not a child, this guy thinks you're ugly and fat, okay? He's only into children. But, the ironic thing about this...
game we play exclusively as Ciri.
In The Witcher 1, you play as Geralt. Shittiest Witcher game. Everyone knows Witcher 1 is the shittiest Witcher game. Witcher 2, you play as Geralt only. Better Witcher game, not considered the best. The Witcher 3, you play as Geralt, and you play as Ciri. It is considered by far the best Witcher game. Then we get Cyberpunk 2077, a game that had a rough launch, but has now pretty much solidified itself as one of the best games ever made. Like, talk to anyone who's played Cyberpunk 2077 at this point, and they will tell you, wait, you haven't played it? What the fuck? Get on that shit. I know, because I haven't played it, and every time I mention this, people are like, dude, get on that shit, it's good now! And I know it's good now, I know! I'll get to it, I promise! But meanwhile, now they're coming out with Witcher 4, and he's like, this is gonna suck even though we've only had one scripted vertical slice gameplay and a cinematic trailer, and I know this because she's a woman! And I like how he's also just assuming we'll only play as Ciri. As well, by the way. How do you know that this isn't going to be an inversion of Witcher 3, where you play 90% of the game as Ciri, but you get those segments where you play as Geralt? I bet they're going to do that. I bet we're going to have those, like, the equivalent of the Ciri segments in Witcher 3. We're going to have those as Geralt segments in Witcher 4. And we're going to play as, like, an older Geralt for short stints of the game. I will bet my life we'll be doing that. DEI Cat Lady. By the way, this is not Ciri in the game. This is a render of Ciri pulled from the internet. Ciri in the actual game looks more like this, because this is official art, but that does not look like her. That's the same person. There's nothing about her face or anything that's differently shaped or anything. I don't see it.
Who they just happen to make ugly and fat now. Could it be because of all the diversity consultants and cucked beta males that CDP...
Oy vey, it's definitely not because of all the activists they hired in 20... I don't see it.
Who they just happen to make ugly and fat now. Could it be because of all the diversity consultants and cucked beta males that CDP...
Oy vey, it's definitely not because of all the activists they hired in 2022. Dude, just... Why do you hate the Jews so much, man? Jesus.
You are recently hired? Nah, couldn't be related. Stop noticing that you couldn't play as a woman or a minority in Call of Duty World at War 2008, and now you are forced to play as a woman and a minority in Black Ops 7. Stop...
You're forced to? Damn. I didn't realize they'd kill you if you didn't.
Noticing that you couldn't play as a woman or a minority in Battlefield 4, and now you are forced to play as a woman and a minority in Battlefield 6.
Many classes force you...
Minority in Battlefield 4, and now you are forced to play...
Many classes force you to play as a woman at the start. Damn. You have to play as a woman for a short period. You know what this reminds me of? Is when, GTA San Andreas came out. A bunch of GameStops across the country saw mass, like, record-breaking numbers of attempts to refund the game because so many gamers found out that you play as a black guy in the new GTA, and they like found out only once they booted up the game and started playing it, got so mad, they took the game out of their console, boxed it up, and took it to the GameStop to return it. I'm not joking, you can Google it. There were news stories about how many people were so racist they tried to return Grand Theft Auto San Andreas the day they bought it because they realized they had to play as a black guy. That was the way they worded it. They were mad that they, quote unquote, had to play as a black guy.
As a woman and a minority in Battlefield 6. Stop noticing that in World War Z, all of the default characters you can pick from are gay and black. Stop noticing that every single film franchise has been cucked by a strong girl boss woman.
My favorite part about the right is that I bet all this guy's friends who have YouTube channels, I bet all of them go on their videos and claim that the left calls everyone they don't like racist, and the left calls everyone they don't like Nazis, and they immediately get on Discord to hang out with this guy. who, like, can't go 3 frames without making a Jew reference.
Stop noticing that movies that always starred men in the lead roles are all women now.
These movies did well. This movie sucked. This movie was a banger and did really well. And Furiosa was considered a pretty fucking great movie, but it did underperform at the box office. Though to this day, audience and critic reviews for Furiosa are really, really good. I need to watch it. It's just one of those movies that, like, I like the Mad Max franchise, but I didn't watch Fury Road until years after it came out. And I had, like, the twinge to watch a Mad Max movie. It's a bit the same. Furiosa is kind of suffering from the same thing. Where it's like, next time I feel like watching a Mad Max movie, I'll watch Furiosa. But I'm just not always in the mood to watch a Mad Max movie, you know? Like, every few years, I'm like, you know what? I feel like playing the Mad Max game and watching the newest movie. Like, whether it be a rewatch of Fury Road or eventually this show, or the movie.
Predator, Ghostbusters, Mad Max, Marvel, Star Wars, etc. All women. Stop noticing that in Marvel Zombies last month, they replaced all the male superheroes with girl bosses. Man, that's a lot of stuff I need you guys to stop noticing. So boys, on to the real question, why? Why is all of modern media, video games, and film against...
Well, doesn't seem like it's all of it. You listed a... Oh, look at that. He literally includes Nico and CJ as examples of before video games went woke. And Trevor. When ironically, CJ was the target of an immense amount of attacks from the right. Like they literally lost their mind. Ah, God, I hate it. I need to play all the GTA games, too. I've only played 5. Why is that meme in Spanish? Where's the meme in Spanish? I don't see any Espanol.
Us. Keep watching, and I think the answer will surprise you. All right, boys, if you're like me, you probably stay up too late gaming all the time, so when you finally go to bed, you want to fall right to sleep. A few months ago, I got...
Oh, my God. Manta Sleep does not like Jewish people, apparently. Wait, hold on. I'm curious. Hold on, I'm curious. I'm really curious. Manta Sleep Mask Review. It's not wireless. It's not true wireless. And it's not water or sweat resistant. And apparently it doesn't have active noise cancellation. So whatever he's about to advertise in this, apparently it does not handle sweat or water very well. But yeah, this is basically like headphone eye mask thing. Whatever company that is, apparently they support whatever this guy's up to.
Yo. Why is every single freaking movie and video game being girl bossed right now? Why has the systematic attempt to...
Roughly half of gamers are women now.
...erase men gotten so bad? To put it simply, it's because men are the guardians of everything that is good, beautiful, and true in society, and there are evil women out there who hate men and want to be in charge.
Or it's because, unlike a decade ago, about half of gamers are women now.
As simple as that. Think about it. America was created by 56 men. Every skyscraper, bridge, and cathedral was built by men. The electricity and plumbing and foundation of your house right now was built by men. Who do governments send to fight wars and save women from burning buildings?
I assure you, this is not true. Because you know who worked? I assure you, this is not true. Because you know who worked 35 years of her life as a construction worker and inspected concrete? My grandma. My grandma worked like 35 years as a concrete inspector. So I assure you, women have definitely had a part to play in the building of our infrastructure and our society. And that is just one anecdotal example I'm pulling from my own family. My grandma worked in the area, she worked specifically in like roadway construction and the placement of like sewer stuff, right? So like you got to lay down like the sewer pipes. I'm pulling back from like old memories, but she'd tell me about it. Like she'd be part of construction crew, basically like looking over and inspecting, making sure that like the poured concrete is good. She did a lot of stuff involving like ripping up a piece of road, working on like some sewer pipe, putting it, like repairing it, putting it back down, and then filling it in. So we're talking like serious infrastructure work that we all need for society to function. And that's what my grandma worked decades in her life, right? Like, let's not pretend like there aren't women working in these positions, because what he wants you to imagine when you think of construction and firefighters is like these like super analog jobs that require a big strong man to do it. But you know, most construction these days is done with like heavy equipment and machinery, even a lot of firefighter jobs. While there are a lot of brave motherfuckers who go into the blaze, a lot of them are also utilizing like a water turret from the top of a fire truck. It's not exactly men-only positions.
Men are the creators and sustainers.
People watch this shit, it's so weird. Yeah, mostly young men who... A lot of young men who go through their first heartbreak watch this stuff. I'm gonna be honest. It's what drew me into it. When you're like a teenager and you're a young man, and a lot of your value is... You're told by society that a lot of your value as a man comes from how desirable you are to women. Content that is entirely centered around a mutual hug box of, like, blaming women for condemning you as a man to not being seen as valuable by society because they don't deem you valuable, like, sexually speaking, or romantically speaking, is a very, very popular thing. A lot of young men, like, they get their hearts broken, and they flee to these, like, incel forums and these incel videos because, like, hating women together makes them feel a little better. It does. A lot of them behave this way.
Of civilization itself, and we've done it for 10.
1 in 6 young men, ages 6 to 12, had a positive opinion of Andrew Tate as of a couple years ago, by the way. So if you think I'm wrong about this, or you think I'm being presumptuous, we have data. The UK published data. 1 in 6 young boys between 6 and, I think it was like 15 or 12 or something, had a positive opinion of Andrew Tate.
Of thousands of years. But as Bill Burr said one time, feminism views male patriarchy as a box of chocolates. Equal pay and being in charge of video games? Yeah, we'll take some of that. Digging ditches and roofing in the summer? Nah, y'all can keep that. Feminism?
So, like, what's so funny about this is how often these men will recognize that there's a double standard that also impacts women, and whenever it impacts men positively and hurts women, they're like, I won't knock it. But when the double standard hurts men, then they complain about it. They do this all the time. So what is this? Like a woman working a job and making money, but also doesn't want to work and kill bugs? I'll pick the parts I like, because, you know, you don't eat the chocolates that suck. Boxes of chocolates are the worst thing ever, too, by the way. Like, don't ever get me a box of chocolates. If, like, my future girlfriend or wife is watching this, just don't do that, please. Like, just... avoid buying me chocolates ever. Like that, it's just... there's nothing worse than when I'm like, okay, I have to try and identify which chocolates are poison. Because, like, if you bite into one of those caramel or, like, cream-filled ones, it's the worst thing ever. It's just the worst feeling. Because you expect, like, a chocolatey or peanut buttery one, and you get, like, a caramel-filled one, and it's just like, ugh! Worst.
Take some of that. Digging ditches and roofing in the summer? Nah, y'all can keep that. Feminism at its heart is a jealousy of God-given male authority, and it is a desire to take away...
God-given male authority. Holy shit, man. This guy has never seen breasts in real life. Holy shit, dude. I would love to find out, like, is this guy married? I wouldn't be surprised if he was actually married. A lot of the most crazy incels end up revealing, I mean, if you believe them, end up revealing they've got a wife. I wonder if he's actually married. That would be really funny. But yeah, based on the way he's talking, I have a feeling he's probably not. He has a daughter. Oh, no! Wait! Oh, fuck! Oh, my God! You just fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blasted me! This guy's the fucking pedo dude! Oh! Okay. This guy made an AI-generated anti-woke game that featured a quote-unquote artistic depiction of a young girl inspired by his daughter being groomed by LGBT... like, woke predators. And when he got criticized for this, he defended it as saying, like, why are the people who are in favor of this in real life attacking me for depicting it in a game? AndyPants AI-generated game daughter. This was a crazy story. I covered this a while ago. I forgot. This guy is insane. AndyPants Gaming, also known as the guy that made CSAM AI CSAM of his own daughter, just lost custody of all his kids. What? 15 days ago? Dude, literally 3 days after this video came out, he lost custody of his kids. Literally 3 days after this video came out, he lost custody of his kids. Holy shit. 15 days ago. Sorry, a day before this video, actually, because this is 2 weeks old. Well, between 2 and 3 weeks old, so sometime, like, within the week this video came out, he lost his kids. He lost custody.
away male authority and put women in charge. You can see this all
right.
going back to the story
Okay.
of
Now we know why he's so amped up in this video, why he's so on that shit.
Adam and Eve in the garden. Satan knew that if he came after Adam directly, his neck would get snapped. But if he was
so tempted to call Adam a cuck.
able to trick Eve, that he could get control of Adam through Eve. Satan is the father of feminism, and Satan was the first feminist. This
Man, I hope that religion is real, man. Like, being I guess I wouldn't call myself an atheist because I don't have, like, certainty that there is no God or anything. But being, like, a empiricist, in a sense. Like, just going off of what we more or less know. So tempted to call Adam a cuck.
able to trick Eve, that he could get control of Adam through Eve. Satan is the father of feminism, and Satan was the first feminist.
Man, I hope that religion is real, man. Like, being I guess I wouldn't call myself an atheist because I don't have, like, certainty that there is no God or anything. But being, like, a empiricist, in a sense. Like, just going off of what we more or less know is real. I still can't help but hope to God that religion is real. Hope to non-existent God that religion is real. Because, like, it would be really, really funny if there is an afterlife and AndyPants goes there. He goes to the bad place, whatever you want to call it, hell, or whatever conception of that you want to come up with, and finds out, no, yeah, all the shit you based your worldview on is wrong. Because, like, the idea of there being no afterlife means no one really gets that divine punishment or that divine cathartic, like, realization that they were wrong in the way they behaved in their mortal life. You know what I mean? Makes me hope that this guy's right and that God does exist, because I don't think God would like him very much. I certainly don't think Jesus would like this guy very much.
This is why none of us should watch Korn or support OnlyFans or Kornhub. Korn is literally Satan getting control of you through a woman. But jumping
Well, I mean, you're going to need it, because no women are going to want to spend time with you, my man.
into video games, I want to talk about how these degenerate Boldyks were able to do this in so many game studios. Now, first and foremost, I want to make it clear that beta cuck men opened the door for this. Phil Spencer, Herman Hulst, Yves Guillemot, Neil Cuckman, Corey Barlog, all pussified men who hired women to be in leadership positions at game studios. But specifically, let's look at some of the key ones involved. Kim Belair. Kim was hired and promoted at Ubisoft to push her anti-male...
A big part of this guy's content, by the way, is centered around, like, trying to get his audience to specifically target these real people with harassment. He doesn't even try to hide it. Like, if there's a actress who plays a character in a game he doesn't like, he'll, like, do everything short of doxing their home address in order to tell his audience exactly what they need to know to make sure that that actress doesn't want to spend any time on social media anymore. These videos are literally, like, harassment gathering places. It's like, people come here to get their marching orders.
Anti-white, satanic propaganda in all of the games she touched. Her team at Sweet Baby Inc. is featured in videos like this.
Over 2,000 video games are produced every year in Canada. The industry makes over $3 billion every year by creating new games, but marginalized people seem to always get the shorter end of the stick.
Can somebody tell me what reality this woman is living in? Last I checked, every single effing game had a gay, disabled black girl boss in it. So this whole...
Believe it or not, no. Actually, no, not every single game has a gay, disabled black girl boss in it. That's actually, let's just say over-exaggeration would be carrying a lot of water, if that was the word we used. That would be a small word for it.
Marginalized people are getting cut out like it's just bullcrap now.
The importance of seeing this character's tits is more important than protecting their lungs.
Video game corporations have been repeating their recipe for...
I love the way chuds who are pretty much anti-porn but love video games featuring female characters with giant boobas, the hypocrisy. Well, because remember, it's good to jack off to fictional women, but if you jack off to real women, you're supporting the porn industry and OnlyFans, which means like an actual real woman receives like payment or some kind of reward for their work. But if you only jack off to like video game pixel women, you don't run the risk of accidentally supporting a sex worker. So there is some level of consistency there. They're not against gooning. They're against supporting women who have used men's desire to goon to build a life for themselves, to build a career for themselves that they could actually succeed from. That's what they're against. They're not against porn or gooning. They're against women taking power of like taking control of the gooning and profiting from the gooning. That's what they're opposed to. Fictional women can't profit from being gooned to.
For success, but diversity has now become the missing ingredient.
Or adversities. Like movies, you can have some form of, misrepresentation of mental illness.
Guys, are you starting to see how gay...
By the way, the footage he's showing there, you can tell that's them working on The Witcher 3. Because that was Witcher 2 footage he was doing there. That where it was an early build of The Witcher 3 where they were still using a lot of Witcher 2 assets. You could just tell from the gameplay. Looked like Witcher 2. Which means that was CD Projekt Red in like 2013, 2014, in the lead up to the release of Witcher 3 in 2015, which supposedly predates all of the woke. Like, wasn't The Witcher 3 on the list of games that were pre-woke in this guy's like lineup? Why is he showing a clip of Sweet Baby Inc. supposedly making CD Projekt Red woke before The Witcher 3 came out?
Race communism ruins everything. They poke their Jewish head into your hobby and say, you need some diversity in here. I mean, the government of Canada engages in institutional theft by giving these companies tax breaks for having a diverse workforce.
Institutional theft by giving companies tax breaks. So is taxation theft? Or is not taxing theft? I'm curious.
Have you ever wondered why these women and Jews never want diversity on an oil rig or diversity in the
Because we don't like oil rigs? Since when is the left in favor of fracking?
construction business or
I literally used my grandma in the construction business, concrete inspector, at the start of this video.
diversity on deep sea welding? No.
Nobody should be doing deep sea welding. Deep sea welding is like one of those jobs that we should be replacing with robots as soon as possible. People make a lot of money doing it, but man, some of the most horrific deaths I've ever heard of came from stories of deep sea welders. For reference, by the way, I want you to imagine you're so deep at the bottom of the ocean, you have to descend in a diving bell that's pressurized so you don't get the bends. And you have to live in the diving bell for days while you work on a project at the bottom of the ocean. You have to work through the night. More often than not, like, you have to go out there in the pitch black of night to like sub out for someone to continue the job. At one point, there have been multiple times historically where a deep sea welder has made a mistake and punctured a pipe, which then causes a vacuum to form, more or less, because the water starts flushing in and it sucks the welder inside of the pipe, basically turning them into a goo of sorts. Very similar to what happened to the Titanic submersible thing, the Ocean Gate thing. I have heard some horror stories about deep sea welding. This is a job we should have robots doing, I'm not gonna lie. Just straight up, we should have robots doing this job. It is a nightmare position. No women or men or non-binary people should be doing deep sea welding.
Oh, because none of them have done an actual day of work in their life, because for them, this is all about getting power. Satan wants power and influence, and you do that through media, and you do that through video games. But furthermore, we might ask the question, if video games are played by 90% men, as this Capcom study shows...
Capcom study last year, gamers are 82% men. Ooh, let's look into this. Let's see if this is true. Capcom gamers are 82% men. This goes against everything that I seem to know about this. Capcom surveyed 250,000 gamers with interesting results. So the only place where this has been posted is Asmongold's subreddit. Capcom surveyed 250k gamers. Now, obviously, surveys are not the best way to try and gather data. But, oh yeah, man, a lot of conservatives covered this when it came out. Capcom just wrecked the video games industry with facts and logic. According to Capcom, 82% of gamers who play their games are male. Capcom just wrecked the video games industry with facts. You got Grums tweeting this. Capcom survey puts Dino Crisis, Devil May Cry. Survey results are in. None of these... Wait a second. Why is Capcom not a single... Like, none of these sources... Sales... Capcom, what they deserve. Sales just died. Monster Hunter Wild sales have collapsed after its initial success, with Capcom blaming external factors and a lack of external marketing. According to Capcom, Grums, Game 8, The Nerd Stash, Steam Community, Game Baba Universe, another Steam community page. Is this even real? Dude, there is a good chance that this was just made up by... There's a good chance this was just made up by the chuds, because Capcom... If Capcom published this, wouldn't it come up somewhere? Also, was it a public survey that could have been rated by people? Did they do a survey on Twitter? I'm guessing they did like a Twitter survey if this was actually real, but nothing from Capcom actually comes up as a result.
Why is it wrong to go after your demographic? I mean, Hallmark, Lifetime, Ulta, they aim their marketing efforts at women. But video games being made for men? Oh, we can't have that now, can we? All right, so at the end of this video, I want to give you guys some practical...
So they're basing this claim... I mean, this guy literally, like, rants about how video games are made by Jewish people, so it shouldn't surprise you, but this guy's main claim is video games are for men, and any attempt to change that is evil. Like, morally evil.
Things we can do to end women infiltrating video games. But right now, I want to talk about...
End women infiltrating video games. Holy shit. No wonder you lost your kids, bro.
3 games infested with feminism and how you can avoid these games at all costs. Number 1, Ghost of Yotei. If you meet a guy who bought Ghost of Yotei, just know that you're not talking to a man anymore. You're talking to a biological male with a pocket vagina who cosplays as a woman. Never has there been a more brazen feminist move than replacing based hero Jin Sakai with an ugly lesbian girl boss. While the combat in Ghost of Tsushima was always a bit slow for me compared to the FromSoft games, let's be honest, you really are there for the story and all the based feudal Japanese stuff. Well, historicity has been complete...
feudal Japanese stuff. Anything that they can tie to like homogenous... They really love like feudal Japan because of the whole like racial superiority complex that Japan had for quite some time and still kind of does.
Completely thrown out the window with Yotei, just like Ubisoft did by putting a Braccaman in AC Shadows. See guys, because history doesn't matter, authenticity doesn't matter. What matters is us projecting our own horrible Western politics on a 1600s game. So right off the bat, the entire...
He's just mad that the main character's a chick.
Premise of a female assassin who can take down a trained samurai is completely ridiculous, and I could never play this game with a straight face without...
Really? Come on. Like, how can you go from women are evil and dangerous to women are so lacking in ability to provide a threat to men that a story in which a woman's going to try to assassinate a guy is impossible for you to believe? By the way, some of the most famous assassins in history have been women. Believe it or not, the job of an assassin is to be stealthy, in and out, and inconspicuous. Attractive women make for inconspicuous assassins that are good at getting past guard, more or less, getting through people's guard and whatnot. Some of the most effective assassins in history have been women. He's just mad that the main character's a chick.
Premise of a female assassin who can take down a trained samurai is completely ridiculous, and I could never play this game with a straight face without...
Really? Come on. Like, how can you go from women are evil and dangerous to women are so lacking in ability to provide a threat to men that a story in which a woman's going to try to assassinate a guy is impossible for you to believe? By the way, some of the most famous assassins in history have been women. Believe it or not, the job of an assassin is to be stealthy, in and out, and inconspicuous. Attractive women make for inconspicuous assassins that are good at getting past guard, more or less, getting through people's guard and whatnot. Some of the most effective assassins in history have been women. This is kind of hilarious.
Laughing. Now you might say to me, but Andrew, you never had a problem with laughing. Now you might say to me, but Andrew, you never had a problem with Bayonetta. Yeah, dude, Bayonetta is not trying to be historical. Ghost of Yotei claims to be historical, so completely different. So now that they've committed to their fictional girl boss who never...
Okay. Are these people pretending like they don't know about historical fiction? Because that was always like the tagline for the Assassin's Creed series, but now they talk about the AC series like it was always this super hyper realistic franchise. Like they always talk about Ubisoft removing the crossbow from AC1 because they were so dedicated to historical accuracy. That's not actually why they did it. That was a myth. The reason they removed it is because they ran out of time to finish polishing it and figuring out how it would interact with certain parts of the game, where having a ranged weapon that was an instant one-shot kill that you could quick reload, just pop, 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 pop. There were a lot of parts of the game that mechanic trivialized and kind of ruined the base gameplay they wanted to encourage in AC1, which was sneaking around, climbing, using stealth spots to set up assassinations, and using crowd stealth. Like, the crossbow just wasn't ideal for it, and they didn't build the game and a lot of the levels with the crossbow in mind and had to cut it relatively early in development. But for somehow the rumor that the crossbow was cut because of historical inaccuracy was became a thing. It eventually made its way into the series because they obviously always wanted to have a projectile weapon be an option. It just needed to be balanced. And that's why in AC2 and Brotherhood, the crossbow's good, but, like, you would never use the crossbow on, like, a group of guys. Like, the crossbow's good just to, like, take out the last guy with some style, maybe from the roof or something like that, or from a distance, but overall, you know, I just use that as an example, because these people love to pretend as though historical fiction didn't exist before 2020, I guess.
Existed, the least they could do is pick a voice actor or mocap actress who could believably take down a man. Plenty of rough-looking Chinese and Japanese female MMA fighters who could...
Huh? Since when does voice determine whether or not you can win a fight? Huh? Huh? Since when does voice determine whether or not you can win a fight? Huh? What?
Believably maybe take out one guy, but this is who they chose as their voice actor.
What guy, by the way? Like, so do you think these female MMA boxers, whatever the fuck, do you think they could not beat one of the quote-unquote non-males that are left-leaning and support the wokeness? Because you talk so much about how, like, left-leaning men can't fight or are weak or whatever. So could these, like, based Giga Chad women beat them up or no? Could they only beat up one? It does, like, the frailty of women outdo the frailty of being woke? I'm curious. Like, what's the power scaling here? Is leftist man below strong woman, or is leftist man still above that because man? Because you've been talking a lot about how they're not men, so I'm confused at this point. One thing you're going to start to notice about this guy's stuff is none of his opinions make sense when considered as a whole. Only as, like, a list of individual grievances he has with minorities does it make any sense. It's just like, the only actual consistency is that he's pretending to have any reason to believe this other than hating women and gay people and Jews.
Actress and mocap artist.
Wait, she's literally jacked. What do you mean? The only thing this samurai is attacking are Pop-Tarts? Brother. You realize that's bulk, right? She's not fat, she's muscular. A lot of guys will see, like, a muscular woman and call her fat. It's like, what? Okay. Now, obviously, she's not, like, jacked muscular, but, like, if you've been to the gym before, and you see, like, the women who power lift, she kind of looks like a power lifter. Like, women who power... So here's a female power lifter. Women who power lift... She fucking broke her ankle, apparently, or her leg or something. Women who power lift... Obviously, if she's flexing here, so she's got, like, an insane amount of definition. But normally, like, if she wasn't actively flexing her arms to look muscular, you would probably look at her, see her passing on the street, and just assume she was super fit. This is also true of a lot of guys as well when they're, like, jacked as fuck, you know... I cannot tell you how many gym bros I've heard rant about how good they look with their shirt off, but the second they put on even a tight shirt, 90% of their gains disappear. They're just like, God, I wish I could socially acceptably walk around shirtless in public. You know, I see those posts all the time. But, like, she's flexing here, but nonetheless, like, this is a person who, if this guy saw her playing a character that was meant to be, like, a badass fighter, this guy would call her fat. Because her legs are thick. And her stomach area and chest are thick. Even though that's muscle. She has a broad chest and stomach because she's muscular. She's a power lifter. But to this guy, that just means fat. If you're not, like, rail thin, skinny, borderline, like, child looking, you're apparently fat to this guy.
What should we call this body type? Never missed a meal? Sitting in a chair all day? They prick her finger and Hot Pocket filling is going to come out. But it gets worse. They gave 5 different fighting styles.
I'm really curious what this AndyPants guy looks like in real life.
To her, and none of them could believably be practiced against a group of men by a woman today. I have a buddy who's been in martial arts his entire life, and he explained to me that it's literally impossible for a woman to wield katanas the way that Atsu does in yokai. Women...
He has a friend who works in martial arts and told him this, guys. You know what this reminds me of? Like when Andrew Clavin made that video about how no woman could ever beat a man in a sword fight. He's just making shit up at this point now. Good lord. Alright, I don't think I can take more of this shit. It's way too cringe. I'm good now. I'm good. He has a friend who works in martial arts and told him this, guys. You know what this reminds me of? Like when Andrew Clavin made that video about how no woman could ever beat a man in a sword fight. He's just making shit up at this point now. Good lord. Alright, I don't think I can take more of this shit. It's way too cringe. I'm good now. I'm good. Satan was the first feminist, what a line. This is the most 2016 video of all time. This got hearted by AndyPants. Just play Doom. I'll never understand why it became controversial to have testosterone. I don't even play modern games anymore. I've been laughing at them fail while staying busy discovering classic PS2 and PS3 games I didn't play back then. After watching this video, now I am a man. I'm a black guy, but I wholeheartedly agree that the hate against men, specifically white men, is unreasonable and absurd. They hated Jesus because he spoke the truth. The point of all this is not to create fun, engaging, awesome, profitable games. The point of this is to destroy, degrade, and demolish any and all things in Western culture, particularly things that encourage and protect strong men. Oh yeah, because strong men need protecting, I guess. Anyway, you know what they say. Strong men, easily discouraged, and very much need protection. You know, if you don't need protection and you're not easily discouraged, then you can't call yourself a strong man, I guess. Anyway, folks. If you enjoyed this video and my dunking on this loser Nazi who just lost his kids, then please leave a like, a comment, a hype, and a sub down below. It really does help a ton, means a lot, helps to compete against nonsense slop like what we just watched, and I really do appreciate it. That said though, thank you for watching, and hopefully I see you next time.